Okay. Oh, and you need the light on too?
No, but whatever. Did you know that 1 in 6 drivers in the state of Texas are uninsured? And of these drivers, more than half of them only carry the state minimum required by law. While these numbers have improved significantly in the last 5 years, many of us are exposed to risks that we are not fully aware of. Hi, my name is Denise, and I'm here to talk to you about insurance. While there are many types of insurance available to you, I'm here to talk to you about the ones that are the most common and affect you on a daily basis: auto, home and renters, and umbrella. Personally, I believe health and life insurance are very important as well, but due to time constraints, we're not going to talk about those today. These are the different types of coverages that are available to you on your auto insurance policy. The first is property damage liability. Property damage liability pays property damages to another person when you are liable. So it could be hitting a car, or it doesn't even have to involve a vehicle if you hit their mailbox, their street sign, or something else. The state minimum in the state of Texas is $25,000. If you're carrying the minimum, that is the maximum your policy will pay, regardless of how much damage you do. Bodily injury liability pays things like medical expenses, lost wages, and pain and suffering if you're liable in an accident. In the state of Texas, the minimum is $30,000 per person and $60,000 per accident. That means if you hit a car full of people, regardless of how much damage you cause, the most that your company will pay is $60,000 if you're carrying the state minimum. Uninsured motorist coverage has 2 portions: bodily injury and property damage. They cover the same things as we discussed in the previous in the previous slide. However, it covers you if someone hits you and does not have insurance. It also will cover you if the covered person is underinsured, which means if they're carrying the state minimum, they hit you and your family, and you have over $60,000 worth of coverage and they're carrying the state minimum, you'll have that additional coverage kick in. As I mentioned earlier, I pulled something from Value Penguin that shows 1 in 6 people do not carry any coverage at all. That means 1 in 6 people out on the road that hit you have a chance of not having insurance. The next coverage is personal injury protection and medical payments. Both of these coverages cover medical expenses if you're injured in an accident. Personal injury protection also will cover you for things like lost wages, pain and suffering, and other damages if you're out of work or hurt due to an accident. These both pay regardless of if you're at fault or not. Comprehensive and collision is what's known as full coverage, but there's no such thing as full coverage. Both of these are going to cover damage to your vehicle, regardless of if you're at fault or not, but they cover your car in different ways. Comprehensive is going to cover anything other than an accident. So hail, damage by theft, vandalism, glass breakage, things like that. Collision is going to cover you if you hit something or someone hits you. Both of these are going to be subject to the deductible you carry on your policy. Roadside Assistance. All companies that cover roadside assistance cover towing. Some do it up front, some do it on a reimbursement. Some companies have full roadside assistance, which will have additional benefits, such as changing a flat tire, fuel delivery, lockout, or jumping a dead battery. Rental car coverage is going to be coverage for people that carry comprehensive and collision. It pays for a rental vehicle in the event that you are out of your vehicle and you have a covered claim. Not all policies are created equal. Some companies in the state of Texas do a named driver policy. This means if they're not named on the policy, then they're not covered. Some companies won't transfer their coverage to a rental car. Some companies don't offer OEM coverage. This means that they don't have to pay for original parts on your vehicle. This is actually quite common. There's also 2 types of policies as far as how they pay: agreed value and actual cash value. Most companies do actual cash value, which means they're going to pay you how much your car is worth at the time of the claim. Higher end carriers will do something called agreed value. That means that you tell them how much your car is worth, and if you total your car, you get what it's worth, even if it's 5 years later. What you told them it's worth, even if it's 5 years later. Homeowners and renters have very similar coverages as well. Property coverage is going to cover your dwelling, other structures, and personal property. Personal property is going to be for renters. The other 2 obviously are going to be if you actually own the home. There's 3 types of policies. The first is a named peril policy. This covers fire, lightning, explosion, smoke, damage from aircraft, ride or civil commotion, vandalism, wind damage, hail, sinkhole, and volcanic activity. This is the most basic type of policy you can buy in the state of Texas. A broad peril policy will cover all of those and has additional coverage for falling objects, theft, weight of ice or snow, frozen pipes, and accidental water damage. All of these coverages were pulled from the Texas Department of Insurance. The third type of policy is going to be the broadest form available. It is known as an open peril or all risk policy. Basically, if it's not excluded, it's covered. Now you may think, what is something that you haven't mentioned that may come up? Well, I actually have a few examples of real life claims. The first is a washing machine that becomes unbalanced. Goes crazy while it's in the spin cycle, busts your hot water heater, you have water damage, you need a new lining and new casing. The next example I have is you're in your attic doing work and you fall through the roof, causing extensive damage to your ceiling. The next example I have is actually a 2-year-old child that was being babysat. Babysitter wasn't paying attention, child got the hammer, next thing you knew, holes all up and down the hallway, all throughout the house. Fourth and final example is a friend was over helping paint the house. Bucket of paint went everywhere. This was actually a pretty expensive house and the flooring cost a lot to replace. All of these would not be covered under the prior policies, but are covered under an open peril policy. Renters and homeowners also have liability coverage. Now, contrary to popular belief, this covers you not only at your house, but away from the house as well. So it could be something like you order pizza, pizza man shows up, trips over your cracked sidewalk, breaks his arm, and sues you. Your liability would cover that. But it also would cover something like you're at the golf course, you hit the ball, someone gets hit, and they try to sue you. Again, because you're personally liable, your insurance actually covers that. Some companies also have personal injury coverage that goes under the personal liability as well. This covers things like libel and slander, and with the internet becoming what it is, it's becoming more and more important. Even if you're not liable and someone tries to sue you, there is a little bit of coverage under guest medical payments, but typically this only pays up to $5,000. The third type of policy I want to go over with you is the excess liability or umbrella policy. This policy provides excess liability in addition to your lower liability limits you carry. So in excess of your home or renters, your auto, and any other type of policy you may have, such as a motorcycle or boat. This is going to protect you from loss of your current income and protect your current assets, but it also protects future income or assets you may have. Kiplinger actually suggests that everyone carry at least $1 million worth of umbrella coverage. And if you have a lot of assets, a large income like $100,000 or higher, or rental properties, he suggests carrying $2 million plus. Now you may think, why do I need that much coverage if I don't have anything? I actually have a few examples of umbrella claims that have happened to give you an idea why. The first actually happened here in Texas. A kid coming home from UT Austin. He was driving, it was foggy, went off the side of the road and fell down into a ditch. All in all, normally would not be a big deal, but unfortunately someone had just done it 30 minutes sooner. There was already a tow truck and a police officer on the scene. Now luckily no one was killed, but the officer was paralyzed from the waist down. Due to this, not only did the insurance company have to pay medical expenses and additional property damage that was caused, they also had to pay to make his house handicap accessible. Umbrella covers that. Second example I have, a lady in Colorado. She'd never had a car accident in her entire life. Older lady, never been in an accident. Driving, there was an avalanche. Unfortunately, she had to go, it happened previously, she had to go around it and hit another car head on. The person that was in the other car had to get a hip replacement. Hip replacements are not cheap and they have to happen frequently. It's not a one-time deal. Again, umbrella policy coverage. Third example, a child actually posted a damaging review online of a company. The company came and sued the parents. Luckily, they had the personal injury coverage and the umbrella. The umbrella covered it. My fourth and final example is a teenage son that threw a party while the parents were out of town. Now, no one was driving, but the kids had been drinking, and one of the kids walked home. He got hit by a car, and the parents came and sued the parents of the child that had the party. There was so much more I could go into on each of these policies and types, but I hope this helped you understand both what you carry and what you need to carry a little bit more. Insurance is very diverse, so it's important to speak to your agent regarding what you are truly covered for. If you have any additional questions on any of these coverages, please let me know.